Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're back for a Thursday night slate with just 3 games to choose from here, Nate. In this one, we're taking a look at the Pistons paying visit to the LA Clippers. Also have another game video and our player props video up for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. You can continue to follow along with us as we're bringing you these videos each and every weekday of this regular season in the NBA. Also head to thelines.com. Nate and gang have great written content up there for you guys all season long, as well as our odds finder tool that you can go ahead and use to make sure you're getting the best juice on anything you are betting on across U.S. sports books tonight. Nate, let's go ahead and get into this little slate here and then talk Pistons and Clips.
Yeah, the other game we break down is Brooklyn plus 2.5 at Portland. Total is at 220 right now. Really like Portland at that small spread. We really like Portland to score a bunch of points after the Kings scored 153 on the Nets in their last game there. The Kings are -7 against the Spurs, who have also been hemorrhaging points lately. That total's been bet all the way up to 238. It's extraordinarily high, but the Kings are hot right now, and the Spurs, I believe, have a 120 defensive rating on the road. And then we get to this game, Pistons +9 at the Clippers. I saw it +9.5 for a minute. We'll see where it settles, and that total's been bet up 2 points to 217.5. I mean, I'm scared to take an over against the Clippers. I think that's kind of silly in general. They're 12-3 to the under this season. And the exceptions are kind of, their latest one was against the Rockets, though, which is a very similarly built team to the Pistons in that they suck. They're one of the 2 worst teams in the NBA. The Pistons have the worst point differential, and they're going to be without Cade Cunningham here, in addition to our guy Beef Stew, and Corey Joseph is questionable. Interestingly, they haven't really been much worse without Cade in a 12-game sample since the start of 2022. I mean, they are 2-10, so the win percentage is lower, but same offensive rating, a little bit of faster pace, and hitting more threes. So, there is a case to be made for the over. I see why it's gaining a little bit of steam at 215. I'm not going to trust the Pistons, though, to score against this LA defense, and LA is dead last in points per game. Even after ramping it up their last 8 or so, they're still dead last. They've increased from 103.5 to 105. They've increased their free throw rate from 29th to 23rd. I will say, though, that if Paul George is out, he's questionable with a hand injury. I think the Clippers defense suffers a lot more than its offense. I think that's been where he's been most valuable the last couple of years, surprisingly enough. I mean, he does put up those offensive numbers from time to time, but he's kind of inconsistent, really dependent on the three-point shot right now. But defensively, when he sits, their defensive rating jumps from 110 to 114, and their offensive rating also goes up. This is since January. They're 12-14 in those games, the Clippers. Honestly, it's kind of a scary game to bet. We're choosing from 2 games with large spreads, aside from that Blazers game that we really like the Blazers in. I do like Bojan Bogdanovic to hit a few threes here. He's only getting 2.5 is his prop. He has lit up the Clippers his last 2. Will say the Pistons have a rest advantage here that's pretty key. And they're 2-1 against the spread with that rest advantage. They've been off since Monday, where they played the Raptors pretty tough without Cade. That's impressive. That's a similar matchup you get against the Clippers, right? Kind of those long wings and great defensive team. Only lost by 4. So I definitely lean towards the Pistons covering here. If you can get it all the way up at +10, I think that's fine. The Clippers aren't really blowing doors off anybody this season. Of course, Kawhi is not playing. If PG is not playing, then you're sitting pretty good here. Luke Kennard is doubtful as well, and their 3-point rate percentage is just far, far worse without him. I mean, he's their one sniper right now. Jaden Ivey, I guess we got to talk about is Cade Cunningham's out, but Jaden Ivey is the goods, and he's got 26 against the Celtics, 21 against the Raptors. This is why they brought him in, to be to pick things up when Cade is either on the bench or he's injured, or to just share some of the ball handling responsibilities, and he's up to it. He's a guy who grew up as a coach's kid, right, and is just a really savvy basketball player, kind of a Jalen Brunson East right now, and I trust
Brunson's in the East now
to
baby.
keep the Pistons, close enough in this one and cover 10 points.
Yeah, a friendly reminder, you don't have to bet every game in the NBA because, I mean, if you want to watch it, then fine. But the Pistons are feisty. I mean, it's weird. Like they're 1-5 really against the spread as an away underdog. They're failing to cover against the spread by like 7 points in those instances, getting beat by an average of 15 points a game. Interestingly enough, the Dubs also are getting beat by 15 points a game on the road as away underdogs. But so just to tell you how bad they are right now, Detroit, I like, Cade. I don't hate the offense when Cade's in it, when they have Cade, Jaden, and Bojan all playing at the same time. They're even even guys like Isaiah Beef Stew, who we love. They help in that sense, like having a formidable offense. That is not going to be the case tonight. It screams under even at like 217. I think it's at 216.5 right now in most books. Like it still screams under to me. This LA Clippers team, like that's all they have. That's all they do is play defense and hustle and are in the top 10 and pretty much most important categories on defense in the NBA right now. The only thing that they're actually allowing at a really weird rate is their opponents to score off of turnovers, and that's because of the fact that they are turning the ball over. So 20 points a game off of turnovers. But if you consider what the Pistons are doing, that's not really how they score either. They're not exactly getting out into transition and causing those fast break points for themselves to the degree that you would need to really be able to take advantage of this LA team, which is the main way that teams I think have, like I said, taken advantage. They're still not really giving up a ton of points off the fast break either, so they are getting back. Like I said, the hustle's been there, right? Like if you look at a lot of the hustle stats for the Clippers, it's just a sort of blue collar team trying to just go to work each day with their workman's hats on, because it's like 6 dudes scoring in double digits, and then one of them named Paul George is above 20 points a game, right? And so the usage rate is pretty even across the board. There's not really like a go-to as we well know. The 3-point percentage is awful. It's really bad for them right now. Luke Kennard, yeah, he's shooting in the high 40s. He's averaging 3 threes a game. That's not what you need from a 3-point shooter. So there's just no pace and space. There's a lack of 3-point attempts. There's a lack of, like I said, everything that's caused by being clogged all over the floor for them. It's really what the issue is. It's been a lot of Paul George playing pretty good on defense once again, as we know he's always capable of doing, and leading that transition for them when they are able to score. So I don't really want to touch. I wouldn't really pick LA in this game to cover such a large spread. I think if you're going with Detroit, you're going with a sort of stars out, bets up kind of scenario where they're happy to just let guys cook. They're coming into this game with no expectations, similar to how I'm going to go play golf this weekend. Haven't played in like a month, so I have no expectations. Maybe I'll be pretty good. That's kind of what I'm looking at here for Detroit. Is we don't expect to win this game, but if we can put up a few points and at least stop this really anemic offense for the Clippers, then we can cover. We can keep this under 10 points.
Yeah, and they just stayed within 10 points against the Celtics 2 games ago. Like I mentioned, Jaden Ivey leading the way with 26. If you can hang with the Celtics, who I guess this is my forced segue to say number 1 in our power rankings on thelines.com. Boston looking good, kid. Crushed the Hawks last night without Marcus Smart or Brogdon, and good Lord, they're terrifying. So if you can stay within 10 points against them, I think you can within the lowest scoring team in the league. I mean, especially if PG's out or not necessarily going to go hard in this game, because they are expected to win. And it's a long season. He's carrying a large load here. I'm not sure if something's wrong with Reggie Jackson in terms of his health, but I would definitely be interested in his props here. Either way, when they come out, I mean, I think they're going to wait on the status of George before they release them. He was about 14.5 points last game, got over that against the Rockets. Also enjoys playing against the Pistons, his former team. Averages 19, 6 and 5 in 4 meetings with the Clippers since he's been playing against the Pistons in those last 4 games. So I would look for Reggie to have a pretty good game here, but other than him, I mean, and Norman Powell, like who's creating offense for the Clippers? Like what's their path for just blowing past anybody, even the 28th scoring defense in the league right now? The Pistons should be able to hang around if they can get to the free throw line. They are number 1 in that department. They're also 9th in offensive rebounds. So if it is kind of a mucky game and you're saying the Clippers are a blue collar team, the Pistons should be able to do enough to hang in there. And we just saw them do that with the Raptors. Again, really similar to the Clippers in my mind. So I think they hang within single digits.
Yes. No, I fully agree because, I mean, also the lack of points, it does. It's like, to your point, like you can't beat a team by 10 points if you score 95. It's just not very likely that you're going to hold an NBA team to under 90 points in today's NBA, right? So the recipe for a blowout is that the Clips have to score like 110. And I don't see that happening as we talk about at home, 101.6 points per game. I mean, they're scoring 108 on the road, also really freaking bad, dude. But at home, 3 and 4 total right now at home, just straight up, with, at shooting just awful at home. 6 percentage points worse from deep, 4 percentage points worse just overall from the field, worse from the free throw line, actually getting more free throw attempts on the road. Like, who does that, right? Like, you always get the calls at home. It's somehow they have 4 more free throw attempts on the road than they do at home. It's just a really gross looking offense. They get some offensive rebounds and rebounds at home or on the road. They do not board at home, like I'm saying here. So everything just leads you to go slower pace. They're not going to turn the ball over as much at home, but they're not going to get I like an under. I still do. Like this reeks of like 101 to like 93 or something like that, and that still gets you inside that 10 points, and you can still feel really good about going under 217 from an offense that is just so bad in a team that I still think is probably going to win in the Clips. But if they do, they're still, like I said, they're not getting to 110. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. We apologize for bringing you a Clippers and Pistons video, but like we said, it's a 3-game slate tonight. So make sure that you do like and subscribe so you can keep coming back, checking out these game videos and our player props video that we have for you today, looking to stay super hot with you guys. Until we see you next, happy betting.